I would just say this to our friend from Bristol, that when my Muslim great-grandfather came to this country in fear of his life in 1912, he did so because he knew it was a place that was a beacon of generosity and openness and a willingness to welcome people from around the world. And
what would he think
if
of
I am
using
Prime
those
Minister,
words then about
if I
the
am
community?
Prime Minister, I will ensure that that is the way our country acts and behaves. And I may say that in respect of what my friend over there says, you know,
Abdullah.
of course, what Abdullah says, of course, I think my Muslim great-grandfather would have been astonished to have found that his great-grandson had become Foreign Secretary.
The question was, though, do you accept that
but he would have been very
words
proud,
have consequences?
and that would have been, I think, a tribute to this country.
Mr. Johnson, do you accept that words have consequences? You are frequently careless with your language. Do you worry that you may do more harm than good? I'm going to raise the issue of Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe, and this was your comment. When I look at what Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe was doing, she was simply teaching people journalism. As I understand it, you know what that did to her jail sentence in a Tehran jail.
Well, actually, I think it's very, very important, Emily, that in this context we should pay tribute to the work of the Foreign Office in doing what they can to get out very difficult consular cases, but in seeking to point the finger either at me or at anybody in the UK for the incarceration of Nazanin or anybody else. I have deepest sympathy, clearly, for Nazanin and her family. But in pointing the finger at our side,
words have consequences. That was Abdullah's phrase.
At our side, well, actually, in that case, it didn't, I think, make any difference. But if you point the finger at the UK, all you are doing is exculpating those who are truly responsible, which is the Iranian Revolutionary Guard.
And when Donald Trump,
that is the reality. And people should realise what this regime is up to.
Okay,
and,
I'm going to ask
that is where
the question to Jeremy Hunt. When Donald Trump retweets offensive, irascible comments about Londonistan, you say you don't like the language, but basically you agree 150% with the content of the tweet.
No. What I said was I agreed with his sentiment that Sadiq Khan has been a useless London mayor when it comes to tackling knife crime, but I totally disagree with his words, and I totally disagree with the racist rants of Katie Hopkins. And let me tell you why. I am married to an immigrant. I have 3 half-Chinese children. When they go to school, they look different to the other kids. And you know, the best thing about this country is it doesn't matter at all. Nobody says anything. We are one of the most open, outward-looking, tolerant countries on the planet, and we must do everything we can to preserve and protect that, particularly at the point of Brexit, where people worry that, I think wrongly, but they worry that somehow our culture might change. And I think we have to show people the Brexit that the Conservatives are going to deliver is a tolerant Brexit. We're not going to put the shutters down and say foreigners not welcome. We're going to remain that brilliant, welcoming country.
Such a Javid, you said you'd be happy to open up the Conservative Party to an independent investigation over allegations of Islamophobia. Would you like everyone on the stage who becomes our next Prime Minister, anyone, to commit to that?
Yes, I would. Do you all agree, guys? Should we have an external investigation of the Conservative Party into Islamophobia? So they all agree. Rory, do you agree? Excellent. They agree.
Okay, that was easy.
But can I say a bit more than that? Can I say a bit more than that? And that's great that we all agree on that. Is that, you know, first of all, if I can say to Abdullah, you know, my parents were Muslim immigrants to our great country, and they also settled eventually in Bristol, and actually have many Muslim friends and family in Bristol and around the UK. And Abdullah is absolutely right to raise this. You know, words do have consequences, absolutely. But I think also behind it, Abdullah, is a concern, and is right to have that concern of growing anti-Muslim hatred in our country. It's certainly over the last few years in all parts of society, when wherever that is, including in political parties, it must be absolutely rooted out. We are today one of the most successful multiracial democracies in the world, whatever your race, whatever your religious background, and that's what we've got to remain. But we can't be complacent. We have to work hard. And that also means, by the way, you asked about President Trump. The US is our closest partner, and it always will be. But because we are friends, we are critical friends. And when someone says something wrong, we should be brave enough to call it out.
Actually, why didn't you call it out, Rory? You said something extraordinary, Stuart. You said, I'm a diplomat. What was that about yesterday when you were asked about the tweet?
I feel very, very strongly that tweet, and indeed anything that you do with a foreign leader, is something that you have to be very firm on, very strong on, but generally, if you're the Prime Minister, you have to do it in dignity and in private. But
Would you call it out in public? If you were Prime Minister, would you call it out in public?
I think Donald Trump is an extraordinary phenomenon. I think
But would you call it out?
Well, I certainly would call out Islam.
If you were Prime Minister, would you have done that?
So, Sajid, I think there's a difficult balance here. I think we have to... there are many... Wait, let me finish on this. I would firstly say to Abdullah, assalamu alaikum, and that I am very, very, very proud to have you in this country, and I am also very disturbed that everybody around the stage, like me, says nice things, but unfortunately in this country there is more and more evidence of people saying, doing and thinking things about Muslims which are completely unacceptable and are nothing to do with our culture and traditions, and the same, unfortunately, increasingly seems to be true of the way that people are speaking about Jews.
Baroness Odavasi, the former chairman of your party expressed unease about the idea of you becoming Prime Minister, given the things that you've said in the past about British Muslims.
Well, only last night, Baroness Noshina Mubarak, who is an elected Conservative Muslim in the European Parliament, endorsed me on the basis that I was the candidate best capable of bringing people together. And Abdullah is right. Words have consequences. Islamophobia, hatred towards people on the basis of their background or faith, is repugnant. We should call it out. I have no hesitation in saying that some of the things that, for example, President Trump has said, no world leader should say, but we should also have no hesitation in saying that some of the things that Jeremy Corbyn has said about British Jewish citizens are disgusting. The fact that he said that the British Jewish citizens needed to discover a sense of irony. We should be clear. Yes, if there are Islamophobes in the Conservative Party, and there are, we should root them out. But Emily, we should also be clear. You can't have someone aspiring to be Prime Minister of this country who indulges the anti-Semitic hate speech that Jeremy Corbyn has indulged. We need to call him out. I'm sure we all agree.
I'm sure you do agree on that one. Let's go to Erin for our next question. Erin's 15, she's in Glasgow. Thanks for joining us, Erin. What's your question to the panel?
Hi. So on behalf of